everyone world over in the different countries, different continents, different time zones, different frameworks, and different conditions. We hope that you are keeping yourself happy, safe, and taking care of your wellness. Today is a very, very important day. It's a Vijayadashmi and, of course, Durga Puja time. So we convey our best wishes, regards, blessings, and all the warmth to everyone world across, wherever our brothers and sisters, all non-resident Indians, Indian diaspora, people those are world over spread, more than 30 million non-resident Indians. We are proud of all of you. So ladies and gentlemen, during this pandemic, we have taken a special session. Of course, we have got our various other programs which keep going on from time to time. But during this pandemic, there are two areas which need a hardcore concentration. One is health sector and second is education sector. And when we talk about health sector, doctors, our nurses, our paramedical people, they are great warriors. They're doing great job. And at the same time, I consider all the vice chancellors, directors, principals, teachers, counselors, technocrats. They are also great warriors. They are doing great, great, great job. So we send our greetings, regards, salutations, and blessings to all of them. So welcome to 260th webinar. We started this entire series. It is dedicated to making education relevant. And this particular program on Sunday, 3 to 4 p.m., that's India ASEAN Joint Series. And this is a global confluence of technocrats, intellectuals, and visionary. Those are from the different stake and different areas and different professions. Now, today we have got very distinguished guests. Those are from the hospitality industry. As we all understand, during this pandemic, during this corona, services sector had the maximum blow, and particularly our tourism, hospitality, airlines, retail, media entertainment, and a couple of other important segments of service industry, they had lots of challenges. However, we'll overcome that. That part will also, this phase will also go over. And every time we learn something new, we pick up something new, and life is always full of surprises and challenges. So we'll take on this challenge also in a very positive, very creative, very dynamic, very innovative way. So this evening, on behalf of our President, Professor Pornthep Sri Narula ji, and under the dynamic leadership of Dato Ramesh Kodammal ji, the co-chairman of the ASEAN-India Business Council, and of course, our advisor for the ASEAN, our Sandeep Majumdar ji, who is the president of India Chamber of Commerce. We extend a very warm welcome to our distinguished guests this evening. Those are joining us from Cambodia and Indonesia. So before we hand over to our distinguished guests, a couple of slides quickly we'll go over so that we all are on the common frequency. Ladies and gentlemen, this chamber came into existence way back in 1994, total focus service industry and non-resident Indians world over. And during pandemic, we are focusing on education, skills, competencies, collaboration, creativity, what all can be done. And India ASEAN today is a special program every Sunday. Our chamber from morning 9 a.m. till evening 9 p.m. Every day we have got linkages. All of us are together. We take on lots of challenges, and we go all the way to Mongolia, Middle East, Central Asia, Latin America, wherever it's possible. All the places we all are together. So 12 hours we are in your service every day. Should be of any help to anybody in any way, we would be more than happy. This is the canvas for the entire week what we have got. Monday to Thursday, we focus on youth empowerment strategies. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, we take you to water management and conservation. Once again, the credit goes to ASEAN because our advisor, senior advisor from Singapore, he takes the lead. Saturday, it is Sandeep Majumdar ji, the gentleman who brings a wonderful Swami, and this is basically Swami Vivekananda's teachings for today's education relevance. Saturday late evening, after Vivekananda's program, we talk about your health, wellness, Ayurveda, yoga, meditation, naturopathy. And every Sunday morning, 9:30 to 11, we take you to United States, where Professor Satendra Dhiman talks about what is the relevance of Srimad Bhagavad Gita and India's Upanishad in today's education system. And Sunday, then we have got this program from 3 to 4 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And after this, you have got another very innovative and creative program under the leadership of Rabindranath Ji, the former CMD of the NSIC under Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise. So startups, stand-ups and entrepreneurs, those are there. So whatever human mind can conceive and believe it can achieve, let's come together, let's make education relevant. Global confluence of educators, motivators, technocrats, counselors, wellness experts, corporate, government administrators, and decision makers. So all of us together, International Chamber for Service Industry, extends you a very warm welcome. And I wish to share today on Sunday, after this program, you have got MSME program. And thereafter today, you have got a very special program. We are getting the experts from United States, from UAE, and they are the non-resident Indians. Those are going to talk about the new education policy, and they will be deliberating on what are the challenges, what are the areas which need a focus, and what are the global best HR education policy framework policies which are to be implemented in India. So don't forget to join us after this program, 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time, MSME, and 7:30 p.m. tonight, we have got the new education policy. We understand education has got a purpose in life, whether it's economical, cultural, social, or personal. So education has to be there. So we extend a very warm welcome under the dynamic leadership of our President, Pornthep Shri Narula ji from Thailand. We also extend a very warm welcome to all of you under the dedicated leadership of Dato Ramesh Kodammal ji, who is the chairman of the ASEAN-India Business Council from Malaysia, very dynamic person, and he gives his valuable notes to us every week. We extend a very warm welcome this evening to Mr. Chris Anthony, and that is Corporate Director, People and Development, Dara Group of Hotels in Cambodia. Mr. Chris has about 32 years of engagement in the hospitality and service industry within the region and internationally as a human resources professional. A highly experienced consultant and facilitator, he is committed to a personal mission of empowering people to find their voices towards achieving their goals. Mr. Chris facilitates several workshops for managerial and supervisory staff for corporations in many countries like Cambodia, Thailand, Brunei, Guam, Malaysia, China, Maldives, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Singapore. He currently works for a Dara Group of Hotels in Cambodia as Corporate Director of People and Development since January 2018. We extend him a very warm welcome. We have also been joined this evening by Mr. Jagdeep Takrti. He's the Area General Manager, Holiday Inn, Jakarta, Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, he is an accomplished award-winning achiever in a variety of city and resort hotels with a unique blend of leadership and management. He is equipped with the advanced skills in strategic planning, negotiation, product development, and resource allocation. Innovative, inspirational hotelier with the ability to drive peak performance across the organization. His past work experience: he worked in Cambodia as a Director of Food and Beverages, Intercontinental, Phnom Penh. Thailand, he was at Area General Manager, IHG. And he was in South Korea, General Manager, Intercontinental and Holiday Inn. Singapore, General Manager, Holiday Inn, Singapore, Orchard City Center. Indonesia, now Area General Manager, Indonesia, IHG. We extend a very hearty welcome to our distinguished guests. So ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming our distinguished guest this evening, and I request Sandeep Majumdarji to take on today's proceedings, please. With these words, our advisor, Mr. Sandeep Majumdarji, kindly unmute your mic, please.
Thank you, Dr. Gulshan ji. Good evening to all our viewers around the globe. Welcome, Dr. Dato Ramesh ji. Good evening to you. So it seems Professor Narula ji is not able to join this evening. So no problem. We will move on. And Dr. Gulshan ji, there's a quick request to you. I have just sent a message to Ms. Chitra that our other speaker, Mr. Chris, has not received the panelist email. So if you can just work out with
Sure.
her and it can be
You
sent.
please take on, I'll coordinate.
Okay, thank you. Good evening once again. First of all, I would like to greet everybody on this auspicious occasion of Navami. We have, as ICSI and Indian Chamber, we have been able to bring in new events every Sunday in this India-ASEAN webinar. We had speakers who were covering artificial intelligence, education, FMCG, telecom, agriculture, pharma, tourism, counter pricing, water resource management, recruitment, fintech, to just name a few. Today's webinar is about the hospitality and hotel industry, which actually India and ASEAN are known for. ASEAN has beautiful destinations, all 10 countries, and India, as you know, has nothing which is not there in India. I have traveled to more than 150 countries. I haven't seen anything except probably pyramid, which we don't have in our country. Rest, everything is available in India. But it is a sad time for tourism, hotel industry, and in general, the business which are associated with tourism and hotel industry, like restaurants, souvenir shops, they're all having a little bit of a bad time. However, the reason for bringing our today's distinguished speakers in this industry is to probably, through their large experience that they have, they will be able to guide us to the ASEAN and India people who are in this industry on how to probably plan this out to post-COVID era, how to plan today's difficult situation, and probably they will give us some tips on how to move forward in post-COVID time. Now, without much of waste, I would probably request Dato Ramesh Kodammal ji. Malaysia is a beautiful destination of tourism, full of hotels, beautiful Penang and Genting Islands, and so much to see, Langkawi and whatnot. So I've been probably, I don't know, maybe 50 times to Malaysia because of my work as well. Every time I go there, I feel like going back again. This beautiful industry of tourism and hotel industry needs a little bit of commitments from people like Mr. Jagdeep and Mr. Krish, who can tell us how to move forward in this difficult time. And Sri Dato Kodammal ji, we look forward to your, because you would be connected very well with this industry as well. Like Sunway Hotel, the owners are a good friend of mine, biggest probably chain there, 29 to 29 properties that they have. So let's hear from you on this, your views on this, Dato Ramesh Kodammal ji.
Thank you, Sandeep ji. Once again, Gulshan ji, congratulations. 260 events. I think the webinar is keeping us moving. And if the COVID was not here, we would not be talking every day, every week. So it is a blessing in disguise. But I regret to inform you that in Malaysia, we are having, at this point of time, some hiccups. Because on Friday, the government announced that they are considering to have an emergency. Rather than a lockdown, they wanted to have an emergency because we have got various problems. We have got a political problem, challenges in the political platform, and also looking at the COVID, our cases where we went down as low as 5 cases per month have increased to 1,800 over cases. So that means there is something which is not right. So this COVID can come back. So the government is concerned about that. But having said that, we are still waiting for His Majesty because Malaysia has got a monarch. We have got a parliamentary system. But whatever final decision which we take on such a move has to be got the consent from the ruler, the King of Malaysia. So we are still waiting to see whether we are going to go through an emergency or we are going to manage it in a different manner, because we got another problem. Because on the 6th of November, we are supposed to have a budget for the country. So if the parliament is shut down, so we'll have a budget under the Special Operation Council. But if the budget takes place in parliament and if the voting does not approve the budget, then we have got another problem. So we are going through a sort of a hiccup. Malaysia is going through a sort of hiccup, but I'm sure we'll come out of it. And as Sandeep said, we have got a fantastic destination for tourism. And I just want to share my views here today, because since we are on tourism and hotel industry, when we look at tourism, I think it is about 25% of the population when you look at the lower income group involved in the whole situation. Because when you look at the lower income group, they are all in one way or the other linked with employment in the tourism industry. There are a lot of Grab drivers, taxi drivers, hawkers who depend on tourists moving into their country. And all this actually is giving everyone along the line a problem. But when we talk of tourism, most of us focus on airlines, on hotels, where we see that they have got a problem. These are the big boys. The airlines have got a big problem. Those are the big boys. Then you look at the hotel industry. What has happened in the last 25 years, which I recall, from the 90s, a trend came that everyone wants to open up a budget hotel. The budget hotel became a norm in ASEAN. People have a small shop house. They wanted to create 25, 30 rooms. They wanted to have a budget hotel. So everyone went into budget hotels. And today we have got a problem where budget hotels are concerned, because even the top chain hotels have reduced their rate to such a level that is affordable to go, but they don't have the customers coming in. So that means the hotel industry is affected, the airline industry is affected, the transportation industry is affected. You see taxis who will take passengers from the airport to the town, they are stuck. Grab drivers don't have much work now, because when tourism is in a boom, they have all the business. What about the stall holders who are having small stores selling banana fritters or whatever it is along the roads, where the night market get tourists? I think it is a serious problem. It is of deep concern. And I think the International Chamber of Service Industry should come out with a format where these people down there, which have got nothing to do, can start looking for some training program within the system to improve themselves in one way or the other. So I think we can come up and help the people during this COVID situation, while their businesses are down, while they are not employed. We can find some way for them to look into the future, because this has never happened before. This is the first time it is happening. And if it happens again, what do we do? Today, you speak to any airline boss around the country, in the world, he said, we have never seen such a time. You talk to Singapore Airlines, they've got a problem. You talk to Cathay Pacific, they've got a problem. You look at Malaysian Airlines, they want to shut down. You look at Air Asia, they're in financial problem. Every airline within the ASEAN area and in India have got a problem. But even before the pandemic, the problem that already started for the airlines, we could see that. In India, most of the airlines were having problems before the COVID pandemic. This gave them another hard knock, where they said, in the boxing language, it's a knockout. It's not a technical knockout, but it's a total knockout. So now many airlines have been knocked out. So I think that the tourism industry is actually something which is very good. Within the last quarter century, it has helped a lot of people to have their income. It has helped a lot of smallholders, small businessmen to improve and have a different platform. But now it is gone. So I hope that our speakers here would come up with a formula to tell to our listeners, what do they do? Because we are getting lost at it. We really do not know. If you tell people to hold on, things will happen. Borders will open up. Customers will start coming in. Passengers will fly around. But how is it possible if you really think of it? In Europe, the COVID cases are increasing. Governments are having restrictions. They are still not opening our borders. So there is a great challenge. I hope we can all work together to find a solution for this. And the speakers tonight have to give us an input to see which direction we can take this area. With that, Sandeep, thank you very much. And I hope and I pray to God that everyone comes out of this COVID and their problems are solved, because it's a lot of pain to many people as it moves on. Yeah. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dato Ramesh Kodammal. You are absolutely right that when a big tree falls, the smaller ones, ants and all, they get affected. So when this industry, tourism, airlines, hotels goes off, has a bad time. So as you rightly said, small industries, people who are thriving because of that also get affected. I don't know how ICSI will be able to plan this out as you requested. Maybe certain things, as you said, of training to Malaysia, that I'm sure Dr. Gulshan Sharma ji will plan it out. Now, I'm happy that our second speaker, Mr. Chris, is already here, has been able to log in. Now, it is said that life actually is a game of chess. You cannot undo the moves already played, but you can always plan to make the next step better. So same, likewise, whatever we have a problem now is a problem, but we can't sit and keep thinking that this is a problem, what to do. We have to move on, we have to find solutions, and we have to probably, there may be many things that our experts today will help us in saying so, that maybe we reduce only the basic necessary staffs, overheads to be reduced, many things, advertisement budgets can be brought down to the bare minimum. I see that a lot of in India, many airlines are giving a very nice package. You buy this ticket, a return ticket, one night stay is being given with the hotel industry. So there are a lot of things which can be planned out. So that our speakers who are expert in this industry would probably will be sharing. So since we have a time constraint today, I want our main speakers to be telling us, giving their presentations. Since we just finished off with Malaysia, Mr. Jagdeep Takrti is very close there. So I go first speaker of today evening. I request Mr. Jagdeep Takrti to come in, very old friend of us. He was with Intercon Cambodia ever since I know him then. Has been working in all star hotels, very senior position. He brings in a huge experience along with him. And he has been kind enough to accept my request to be a speaker in less than 48 hours. So I thank you, Mr. Jagdeep, for that. And over to you, Mr. Jagdeep.
Thank you very much, Sandeep, for the invitation. And I value friendship more than anything else. So accepting an invitation at 48 hours is no problem at all to help a friend. So thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you, Dr. Gulshan, for also supporting the invite. And I think like Dato Ramesh said, the industry has really taken a complete U-turn, and the airlines, the hotels, and the associate industries are all completely with the backs to the wall. And I wish we had a magic formula to provide, or a magic pill to provide, that would solve everybody's problem in one shot. But unfortunately, we don't have that. But having said that, I've been in the ASEAN region, in Singapore, Malaysia, in Korea, in Thailand, and now in Indonesia. And I have personally gone through SARS, MERS, and you name it, and we've had it in the past 10, 15 years. Nothing as bad as COVID, though. And we've come out of each one of these problems with a positive future and with a new learning. So I think, to me personally, and to IHG as a company, I think this is the time where innovations in hotel industries are going to happen at the maximum, because people have really been pushed out, and hotel industry, by and large, in the last 20 odd years, has not been challenged like this. And I think we've followed a set pattern of doing things and following the same structure of doing things. And we've grown from that in many years. But like you rightly pointed out, that we were seeing this decline in the hotel industry 3-4 years before COVID came. So it wasn't as though COVID came and struck it and we all fell down. This decline, one could see from 2016 that there was, the rates had gone up, the cost, allied costs was going up, the fuel cost was going up, and there were various factors in the world that were influencing that. So we were already seeing a soft downturn, so if I can say that. And I think the hotel industry was trying to respond in various forms. But I think from now will be the massive stage of innovation in the next couple of years in the industry. I think one of the first things that we must note is that there is a lot of redundancy that has happened in hotel industry because there was a large number of labor force that was being employed by the industry. So we've got very good quality people out there in the market, which are jobless right now. And I think this opens up a huge opportunity for hotel chains that were looking for exploration and expanding into areas beyond the big cities where the people come from. So we had a lot of migrant workers that came from smaller towns and came to big cities. And while the big cities had hotels, we had a lot of destinations which were outside in the B cities and the C cities, which didn't have adequate hotels. So I think this opens up a lot of opportunity for big players to open up hotels in the C and the D and the B cities, where these skilled workers that have become redundant and they're unlikely to be absorbed back into workforce in the immediate near future, would give a great starting point for them to be used in other hotels and provide job employment. Of course, the government and the private sector and the big boys will have to play a big part in continuing the expansion and not be cowed down by the fact that COVID has hit and it will take another year or so to come back to normal. So that's perhaps my first point. The other point is education related. So a lot of places, including Jakarta, have no formal schools for education for hotel industry. And I think that opens a second opportunity for us, because so far, because the requirement was so huge and people were getting absorbed from apprentice level and they were being groomed to higher levels. So it was pretty straightforward for that. While India has a hugely developed hotel industry schools, which have all over the cities in A-tier cities, B-tier cities, there is some form of education for schools, for hotels. Jakarta and Indonesia, by and large, sees a very small percentage of that. And I think even Cambodia and Malaysia and all these areas, the schools for education system to bring up people into the hospitality industry in a systematic manner are still, I think, at a nascent stage. They're not highly developed. So I think that's another opportunity that the big education institutions could take from and build from there into the pipeline, so that we have good skilled workers in the pipeline rather than just taking apprentices and building on from there. So from an IIG perspective, actually we started this about 5-7 years ago. We opened IIG academies. So we created the MOUs with institutes in the areas that we worked in where we had hotels. And we encouraged education journey for students there. So it took us one step before they actually graduated out of school to showcase what the hotel industry offers, what kind of jobs it offers. And we got people on training before they actually graduated. It was more a way to showcase what the hotels had and what opportunities lie in the hotel. But again, we were not addressing the education system itself. We were just showcasing what we have. So when people graduated out of school, there was an opportunity to hire. So I think there's a second opportunity for us to look at into reforming the education system for hoteliers or possible future hospitality industry employees in the future. So those are the two things that we could do. The other thing, I think, what opens up is that because there is so much availability of skilled workers, and I can speak for Indonesia, for Jakarta and Indonesia at the moment because I'm here, is that there is a massive opportunity now for call centers or for data processing systems to become centralized. And I think all these people have been trained in hospitality, so their working ethics, their approach to hospitality and guest services at a very high level. So I think this does open opportunities for industry that requires skilled workers in the hospitality industry. that can be reskilled a little bit. And we can open our own central data servicing centers, which can service Indonesia, or which can service anybody who needs, any industry that needs these ethics or this hospitality nature in service. So that's the second bit of it. The other thing that is very close to my heart has been people with disabilities. So I think when this redundancy and this freeze happened in the industry, the first things that got knocked down were people with disabilities out of the working system. So I have been a huge proponent of on this subject for the last 10, 15 years. And I've spoken at the United Nations on this subject, on how to create a model of employability. And I think here comes an opportunity where I think we have very developed programs in Singapore. And I think in India, there is a fair bit of work happening in areas. So I think that is the other thing that personally I would like to focus, because that's something that we can make a difference. And there is no focused approach towards this subject in Indonesia. So we are working, I've been working very actively in Singapore with this, and Korea and Thailand. And it is more like a personal agenda for me to while we focus on the able-bodied people to get back to work in reskilling and re-education and reframing. I think the other thing that I would really want every one of us to focus on is that section of people that are disadvantaged we should have stronger government policies towards how to implement and how to increase the employability of people with disabilities in every organization that exists. That will be it for me for the moment.
Thank you, Jagdeep. I think there are a few points which you have just spelled out. I'm very much touched with this, your personal agenda, which you have taken up on your own, of helping the disabled people to have a stronger presence in the hotel industry. This is something I would like, since you said this exists in Singapore. Our other speaker, Mr. Chris, is basically a Singaporean, but he's working in Cambodia. And last evening when I was speaking to him, he did mention that sooner or later in near future, he would like to move back to Singapore, maybe for personal reasons, whatever. So if this, what you have just narrated, and since both of you have worked in Singapore, he hails from Singapore, maybe I will pass around the numbers of you both. Maybe you can get in touch with each other, and Mr. Chris can take these thoughts and ideas forward. Same can be done in Cambodia. Mr. Chris is here, so we will try and do something of that. So I think we do have here, not in the hotel industry, I think, Jagdeep, you would be knowing that near the museum, where the palace, there used to be some of the restaurants, which were 100%, it was served by people who are blind, who are deaf, it was totally served by them. And so lovely trainings that they had that nobody will guess unless people who know that they are disabled. But it was so lovely. If we can have more and more institutions like this who can help the disabled people, I think that would be a great service to these people. Very good idea. And rest of it that you said, academies to be done, and the smaller in the hotels to be placed in B and C and D cities. That's a very good idea. And yes, for last few weeks, every day I'm getting some emails and forwards and WhatsApp from India and other countries, wherein the hotels I see are for sale because of low in people coming in. So that is something which is bothering everybody. We need to see how to protect this. We'll talk more about it as it comes. If viewers have any questions for Mr. Jagdeep, can post so to our moderator, Dr. Gulshan, after the second speaker presents. So without waste, thank you again, my friend Jagdeep, for your extremely good presentation. I invite now Mr. Chris Anthony, who is working with the Dara Hotel. This is a place which, when it started, we were probably the first week, we were the first visitors there. I remember the renovation which took place after for long 50 years. And there was a time when probably 10 to 12 years continuously, every month we were there for the beautiful location. And I think this during the water festival on 29th, I'll be there again with the family and friends. Beautiful properties. You have all the good properties. Mr. Pong, who is the owner, has a lovely concept. And it's over to you for your views and presentation, Mr. Chris. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Sandeep. I hope you can hear me clearly. There's some connection problems just now. Well, I'm indeed very happy to have been invited by Sandeep for this session. Very, very happy that, I'll be sharing the same platform with distinguished hotelier like Mr. Jagdeep Takrti. Pleasure to meet you too, hotelier, another hotelier. And so are the others, Dato Ramesh and Dr. Gulshan. Thank you very much. And I'm very, very happy to have met distinguished people. Now, my presentation will focus on three areas which I had discussed with Sandeep. The first one is I would like to talk about the present situation in Cambodia with the COVID being present here. What is really happening in Cambodia before COVID and after COVID, or during COVID rather. And then my second one will be what kind of steps we are taking to tackle the situation now. And my final point, brief point, will be how, in the best of my knowledge, how India could render some kind of an assistance to Cambodia so that we can have Cambodia and India, as I understand, had a very beautiful relationship for a long time. Yeah, that's very healthy, and we can strengthen that relationship even further. Now, as for the current situation of the hospitality industry, very briefly, I had spent a great deal of time, slightly over 3 years in Cambodia. Prior to that, in the region, I had worked in Brunei and Thailand and a few other countries in the Asian region, of course, Malaysia, Singapore. So I bring some experiences from there too. As I was reading quite recently, I came across this gentleman, Mr. Jayant Menon. Jayant Menon is a leading economist with the Asian Development Bank. He says Cambodia has got very strong economic and tourism opportunities for potential investors. The broader hospitality industry does appear to be financially attractive in Cambodia now and in time to come. This was mentioned by Mr. Jayant Menon, another distinguished person. So it is a known fact that Cambodia has got a very rich history, the culture, coupled with impressive destinations. We have 3 provinces. I don't have to say this to Sandeep, as I heard him saying that he has been here for umpteen years in Cambodia. To the rest of them, we have the provinces called Sihanoukville, which is in the coastal side. Then you have the Siem Reap, where the famous Angkor Wat is. I've read quite extensively about Angkor Wat and how it was set up. The thing is that tourism in Cambodia relies, I'm not sure whether I'll be correct to say that, primarily on Angkor Wat. That's the selling factor for Cambodia. It used to, I get sometimes a bit disappointed that there must be more sites for tourism growth in Cambodia, because tourism is the 3rd largest economy after agriculture and garment industry, garment sectors. Scores of people are working in the garment industry. tourism seems to be increasingly now becoming popular among big players. Big players are here because they see the growth here. I got some statistics from the Ministry of Tourism of Cambodia that they had projected through travel and tourism $5 billion with the expected arrival of 7 million travelers, tourists coming into Cambodia. Now, they were not very far away at the end of 2019, where they had 4.9 million achieved dollars, and there were, instead of 7 million, they had 6.8 or 6.9 million people. So they were very close to reaching their projection, their target. Because slowly but surely they were promoting Cambodia in the face of competition from Vietnam and Thailand. They were aggressively selling or marketing their destination and the industry. So the situation in Cambodia right now, yes, we are very badly affected by COVID. Very badly affected by COVID, but nevertheless, I'll tell you a little while what's the exact external situation, but the hospitality industry is what I want to highlight. Now, there are new developments in Singapore because they see great potential despite the COVID pandemic. They still see the growth in the travel industry, in the hospitality particularly. We have big players, international players like Hilton already planning to come, Shangri-La Hotel, another international brand. Banyan Tree is already operating at Siem Reap. They have Marriott Hotel. They have Six Senses. They have Alila, and they also have Rosewood, which is already operating. The Hyatt Regency has already established, and they were supposed to start next month, but I think I was told that they're starting in the month of January 2021. So it is it's a very encouraging scenario as far as the hospitality industry is doing, because big players, these people are big players who are not only going to become known brands internationally, as well as taking Cambodia out to the international market. Because sometimes I feel Cambodia is a little unheard outside. They are having the same notion that Cambodia is a underdeveloped country. There are not much to sell. So when I was looking at all these, it seems to be very encouraging, because people seem to be of the notion that, again, they are potential employers, large-scale employers. The target for the Cambodian hospitality industry by the government is to have 1 million workers. 1 million workers for the hospitality industry. And before the COVID, they had already attained about 800,000 workers in the hospitality industry. So it is really, really very encouraging to see these big players coming into force. I'm giving you the brighter side of Cambodia and its economy. So having said that, I feel that there are people who see the growth. They just are overlooking Thailand to see as a competitor, Vietnam, Thailand, and not so much on Myanmar. The growth for Cambodian hospitality is very, very encouraging. Added to that is the progress or the developments Cambodian government has embarked on. One of the main things is that they are coming out with a new international airport, which is built at a cost of about $1.5 billion. And it is going to be one of the largest airports in Asia. Very enlightening, and the aspiration is very high. Incidentally, the main investor in the airport is my current boss, Mr. Peng. Yeah, he is the investor who pumped in, and of course, it is in the Kandal province, not very far. They will still retain the present Phnom Penh International Airport. But they envisage that this will bring in about 13 million passengers per year once it is completed. So to give a situation scenario of Cambodia right now, the progress that Cambodia is gradually making inspires me a lot personally, and I see the progress. There must be, Singapore, as we all know, is part of ASEAN. There is definitely proper coordination with these ASEAN countries. The last VIP, as I understand, was then Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir of Malaysia had come to from the ASEAN group, had come to Cambodia. And I've not heard of any other ASEAN dignitaries who had come to. I've not heard. Maybe they must have been, except China's foreign minister had just visited Cambodia. So I think there are a lot of expectations from the international market as far as the tourism is concerned. Now, another point to mention here is Cambodia is somehow or other, I don't know, it's a blessing, or is it something that we are not so perturbed by the COVID. And every time I go, I take a ride to the city from where I am, I see people are not perturbed at all. They're not too worried about. I don't see they wearing the masks, which is, becomes has become a big headlines in US and every other country to be safe wearing the mask. But Cambodians, I think 70% of them don't wear the mask. Now, I asked some people, why are they not wearing the mask? Oh, they say they will not be affected because the spread of COVID here in Cambodia is, one is the government has taken good care, preventive steps. The other one, I think they are so confident that it will not affect them. So life goes on. I'm very delighted about that. People hardly showing any sign of worry or concern about COVID. Very, very positive outlook. A point of entry, the government had introduced something like $3,000 deposit, and then you have to give something like $50,000 worth of insurance policy. Now I think they have disbanded with that. I think which is a good sign for tourists, because they feel that in addition to the 14 days of quarantine, this became a hurdle for many. So when they have taken out that, the 14-day period is quite a norm in many places. So I think I've given some rosy picture about the current situation in Cambodia. People are slowly coming back little at a time. Now, as I said, my second point is that the impact of COVID in the industry, the hotel industry. Now, most of the hotel operators are now crawling on their knees because of poor business. The rooms are virtually empty. The rooms are not occupied. my hotel rooms are surely not occupied, as they were enjoying huge profits before the COVID. But when the COVID came in, and currently up to now, we are really struggling to operate the hotel. No financial gain. It's all payroll expenses and maintaining the hotel properties. So it's very crucial. It's very delicate for the owners to face the COVID and then trying to fill the rooms. Even though they bring the room rates down, it's difficult to attract. So they go into locals, attracting local people at a lower rate, and establish staycations so that people can come and at least occupy quite more than the foreign travelers. So when I see this kind of a situation, hotel operators, struggling, virtually struggling for business in Siem Reap, which is known as the Cambodia's crown jewel. A lot of tourists go when they arrive in Phnom Penh. Their first thinking is, I want to go to Siem Reap to see Angkor Wat. But then that was the beautiful days. Now nobody is going to Siem Reap, and there are about 83% of lodgings in Siem Reap which have closed. The cultural village, and I think they're closing early November, because virtually there's no tourists who are going there. Then I was told that about 3 months ago, I was told there were 53 hotels that were closing. And now, when I was doing some research, 96 guest houses have shut down. 172 big and small hotels, boutique and 5-star or 4-star hotels have suspended operations for a certain period of time. So it is very, very sad that we are grinding to a halt because of COVID. So hotels are trying to take steps to see how we can introduce, how we can build the confidence of the local people, and gradually when the government opens up, more people will come and feel safe. So what we're doing is, the hotels have come out with new norms in the front office operations, the housekeeping, the room cleanliness, how to clean the rooms. They've come out with new approaches so that the people will be coming back with confidence. Even the key cards, which need to be sanitized, not just issue key cards. The rooms to be cleaned depending on how to clean or when to clean. All these will be improved because of the new norms. Because previously we only focused about the customer service as long as they are happy. So COVID situation, I think it's important that the hotels must come out with innovative ideas on how to curb the spread and build confidence among the guests. Now, I must add this also, because I only was talking to somebody yesterday over breakfast about the new sports complex that we are coming up with. There is a sports complex which is called the Morodok Teko Stadium, National Stadium. This is at Phnom Penh, which is about 80% completed, and is going to be the biggest in Asia sports complex. In terms of tourism, that will attract more people, not only for the their health lifestyle, but brings in people from other countries nearby. I mean, ASEAN or other Asian countries. It is actually identified and slated for Asian Games. The year 2023, I think Asian Games is set for that. So there will be scores of people who will be coming into Cambodia. And again, hotels, hospitality industry must be prepared for that. So that's the encouraging part. So having mentioned about the COVID and the situation, how we could improve the hotels, how we could enhance the services, improve the services, and look at how the hotels can recover soon. Now, my final point I want to talk about is how India can help. Yes, I'm of an Indian origin. My parents were from India, but this is a third generation, I think so, that we are in Singapore. I have visited India once in my life so far. Regrettably, I regret for that. I should be going to India more often, but then work and other factors has delayed my going to India, which I love very much to go to India. Every time when I want to go to India, something interrupts my plans. Nevertheless, India, as I believe, I have had the luxury of working with Oberoi group of hotels. I think I have known the founder, Mr. P.R.S. Oberoi. P.R.S. Oberoi is a great man. And I had the luxury of traveling in Singapore when Mr. Bicky Oberoi had come to Singapore to buy hotels. We were operating Oberoi hotels at the airport and at another shopping complex called Takashimaya in Orchard Road. So he had a beautiful restaurant, and he personally came to design and open the restaurant. Regrettably, they had also in Hong Kong, but regrettably they closed his operations in Singapore. I'm not sure for what reason. But how India can help Cambodia? Now, I mentioned Oberoi, I mentioned about Taj, and I think there's another big group called Leela Palace. Now, these people have a wealth of experience in hotel management. I would like India to think about investment, bring these brands into Cambodia. Because if Shangri-La and Hilton and all the big players, Rosewood, all the big players have shown interest, I think the big players in India should also think likewise and promote the brands here in Cambodia. The other factor is that I know Oberoi has got a school, Oberoi School of Hotel Management, something like that. And their courses are internationally reputed. Many people I know have personally gone to Delhi, I think it's based in Delhi if I'm not wrong, to attend Oberoi courses. Now, if India can look into setting up a training institute, which is my passion, and I'm considering that in Cambodia, if they can come out with hospitality courses, management courses, and upgrade the not so, how do I say, the not so enlightened leaders in the hospitality industry in Cambodia, India can help bring the courses to Cambodia in the hospitality and set up institutions, training institutions in Cambodia. The other point I like to highlight is India should also bring in, I'm sure Sandeep is personally handling delegations that come from India. In time to come with the recovery of COVID, I think we should have more trade shows, trade fairs, business delegation from India coming into Cambodia. that will help, because India has the resources, has the expertise, and they can come to India and promote India in. We are. I mean, we are fully aware that the main tourism here uh, is evolving the Chinese market, which is good for Cambodia in a way. Yes, the economy, and they spend a lot of money in Cambodia. But I think instead of India spending money, I think India has got a wealth of knowledge, skills that are pertaining to the hospitality industry can be shared by Cambodia. With that, I say thank you very much for giving me this opportunity for participating together with this session. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Chris. I think a lot of takeaways again from your presentation. First and foremost, I will touch upon your not being able to go to India. I think the next job that you assign, please see that you get a job in India so you'll have enough time to move around.
Sure, thank you.
India is not small, it is 29 countries,
Sure.
almost. And everything, as I said, is available in India, which you see in the world.
Sure.
Yes, you are right. The Southeast Asian Games, which are going to be held in Cambodia in 2023, that stadium probably is going to bring up a lot of tourists and opportunities for the hotel industry and as such. Yes, I think what you mentioned, that all the big names, which few of them mostly available, you missed out on Novotel, which is already under construction.
Yes.
On BKK1, it's already up on the ground. So I think in a year or two, it should be ready and operational. Lee Meridian is already there in Siem Reap, as you are well aware. And there are many more which are planning to come. But unfortunately, this probably the delay will happen because of this COVID, because they might be, of course, not doing well domestically in India.
Yeah.
Then you have other properties like Pride Hotel, Leela, who are also, we know them. Probably we can invite them at a stage when they are ready for it.
Right.
I think it will definitely need a year or two for them to get back to their feet.
Sure.
Your request for getting in tourism and the hotel industry from India, I must inform you that we have worked. I've been to India with our tourism minister here in Cambodia for the Advantage Assam Summit, which was held in Guwahati. And we went with a delegation of almost 30 people, including performers and professionals. So he was very keen to see, because we all know that Northeast is going to play a very important role to connect business to Southeast Asia. Once the road is already almost done through Myanmar, Thailand, it will come to Cambodia and move on to Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, and rest of ASEAN countries. And if they are able to bring in direct flights, which of course, initially, I understand it is going to be Guwahati and other go from Guwahati to Singapore and all, as and when it happens to Cambodia, and it will definitely bring around a total different change, a positive change in tourism and investment coming from India.
Sure.
Other than this, I think I will give chance now to our moderator, Dr. Gulshan, because I think he has noted down a couple of questions and points for both the speakers and of course for Dato Ramesh Kodammal. So over to you, Dr. Gulshan. Before I pass on, my sincere thanks to both our distinguished speakers, Mr. Krish and Mr. Jagdeep, and of course, Dato Ramesh Kodammal. He is he is there with us every Sunday to give us guidance and his inputs. So over to you, Dr. Gulshan Sharma ji. Dr. Gulshan, you have to unmute your mic. Yeah, normally you were the one who tell us. Now we got a chance to tell you.
Thank you very much, Sandeep Majumdarji. In fact, our deep gratitudes and thanks to you, and particularly to these two distinguished guests also, to whom you brought this evening. And of course, we get blessings of Dato Ramesh Kodammal ji and our president every week. I've noted down all the points. I've got a few concerns which are to be taken care of. And all the points, whatever has been given by both the distinguished speakers, I've noted down, because tourism, hospitality, airlines and services sector is next to my heart. And last 40 years of my life, I have dedicated and I have devoted and I have spent and wish to spend rest of the life also, whatever is left over on this planet, with the service industry, with the three segments of the Golden Triangle: airlines, tourism and hospitality. Now, having worked in the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, and before that, having seen the different parts, and now with the education, skills, competencies, and then at the same time with the chamber, during this COVID, we have taken up the agenda, but there are some serious issues and concerns. There cannot be an exchange of manpower at this point of time to different countries, because the country's own people are getting at present displaced and they have lots of difficulties. When I'm talking to different countries and when our chamber is getting in touch with all of them, they say it is very, very sensitive at this time. Any segment, any area, any sector you take into consideration, suggestions are very, very valuable. But for example, 56,000 youth are waiting, having done their graduation in India, in hospitality industry alone. And they are thinking, what are the avenues available for us? Where should we go? What do we do? So those 56,000 kids, when I got all the principals together on a common platform, and when I discussed with all of them, Mr. Chris mentioned about the Oberoi School of Hotels. Now, there's another very prestigious institution is ITC Welcome Group Hospitality School, which is in Manipal. So when we had these all principals together on a common platform, the suggestion has come that at present to shift these hotel boys and girls, those are passing out, to the health sector and wellness sector. Because nowadays there is no difference between the hotel industry and hospital industry, I will tell it that way. Because 5-star hospitals are also there. You have a front office, you have got customer service, you have got facilities, you have got food, you have got television, you have got housekeeping. Everything is to be done except doctors and nurses and paramedical people. Rest, everything is a hospitality, which is happening in health sector also. So we are trying to strategically channelize these children that side. Now coming to second point, we may try and give a soothing to ourselves and try to make ourselves happy and give any kind of an assurance to ourselves. But the challenges are going to remain for quite some time, because the reason being, it is something like you get a wound, the wound gets healed, but the scar still remains. People are at present is not having only physical problem, they are having mental issues also. There are going to be psychological barriers to travel to other countries, different places. Now, when I'm talking to all these, there are so many challenges at this point of time. 70% of the people world over, they say we will not travel till the time the vaccine comes and we get it injected in the body and we know situation is improving, because certain places every day the statement comes that the second wave of the corona is also coming, second wave of the pandemic is also coming. Nobody knows what exactly is the situation. So thereby, I personally feel tourism, hospitality, airlines, media entertainment, retail, and other kind of an areas which are next to my heart, because that is my oxygen. I think about them all the time. And we are in the service industry. It's only agriculture which has given upsurge at this point of time to Indian economy also. And anywhere, if you take into consideration the whole GDP, which is getting into negative, it's only agriculture sector which is saving and which is a face saving and which is basically trying to help out. Now, we got to think of hospitality industry also has to get into what people will buy immediately. And we are going to start that experiment in India. And already we had a lot of deliberations on that. Organic farming will come in the kitchen garden of the hotels also. The organic farming, when we are talking about, the people would be more keen to even eat if they can get something organic at a higher price. So that is one thing. Secondly, nutrition. So if we think the fast food and other areas will be sold in the near future, I think it's a distant dream. It's not going to take place. Even the younger generation, when we are carrying out a survey, the fast food and the junk food and what we were talking earlier, children are also becoming very conscious now, whether it's a grown-up children or it's a college-going children, and a couple of things are coming on that. So I think something related to agri-industry, nutrition, organic farming, something we have to think of.
Yes.
Now coming to hospitality. 10 countries, beautiful countries in the entire ASEAN region. I must congratulate and I must compliment Mr. Sandeep Majumdarji organizing a hospitality deliberation and discussion and thought process at this point of time is a very big challenge. Because when you take on a webinar, the people always ask, what is the takeaway? What are we getting from here? When I am not in a position to get any jobs, when I am not in a position to give any openings, when I am not in a position, now having taken Mr. Jagdeep Takrti's idea onto the data center, call centers and BPOs and a couple of other things, from India, everything had moved initially to Philippines quite a bit in the bulk.
Correct.
But at present, when I have discussed with the top notches in the Silicon Valley, and I have discussed with other stakeholders, the top 25 IT giants of the world, they are not looking forward to something outsourcing right at this point of time, because the big corporate houses like Google, IBM, Microsoft, and even for Netflix, whatsoever I'm talking about, they all are taking decision that next 2 years, all of you please work from your home. Don't come to offices because we do not want to spend too much of money on these buildings and rentals and other things. So I think somewhere we have to find out in the hospitality industry also how the virtual events can take place, what exactly can do, what can we do, because the banquets were playing very important role, food and beverages were playing very important role, events were playing very important role. So technology has to come further closer somewhere to my service industry. Day and night, I'm all the time thinking what should be done, how it should be done. But at present, if you ask me, as a Director General of this chamber, I do not have a ready-made solution for my hospitality children to see any kind of an opening in the hospitality industry. They got to branch out to other industries, which are sister concern industries, and where they can have an opening. We also tried out. Somebody was telling, okay, fine, we can have the Uber and Ola deliver the fast food to the people at their residences, hygienic food being prepared and all. Experiment of the last 3 months I'm sharing with you. People are scared of eating anything coming packed outside in any other kitchen which they have not seen, which has been cooked before them. It is a challenge. It's a psychological challenge. And Cambodia is very fortunate that you are not having, we pray to Almighty that other countries also. India is also recovering. It's a much better situation, but if we do not take proper precautions during this festive season, then situation can reverse once again. Sure. Nobody knows about it. But if we do not get into a bad shape, then by February 2021, things should be perfectly fine, because nobody is talking about the people, those who have built the herd community and those who have recovered, because immune system somehow, whatever I want to call, because certain harsh words I don't want to use, but when you live in a little unhygienic way, you build your immunity also a better way. I don't want to discuss onto those points, but most of the people have, many people might have got corona and they have recovered, they do not know even.
Yes.
So anyway, now coming back to a situation at this point of time, the only thing, and that's why again and again, I was requesting Dato Ramesh ji also, and my friend Sandeep Majumdar ji also, and Majumdar ji is doing a commendable job. My great respects to him. I think at this point of time, education, skills, competencies, reskilling, repackaging, and whatsoever can be done by all of us together, I think that can bring India and ASEAN closer to each other, because movement of people or movement of that kind of physically, that is likely to take some time. It is not going to be, because I was discussing with some psychiatrists and psychologists as well, and they told me when people will come out in the public world over, then the psychological issues are also going to be there. I would be not standing next to Mr. Chris and talking to him. I would be not standing next to Mr. Sandeep, and I would be saying, maintain distance, let's not sit together, let's not talk together. It's going to create a lot of psychological issues also after we will overcome this. So thereby challenges are there. They are in realistic terms, they are in real terms, and we have to overcome that. And what Datoji told earlier, and what Mr. Sandeep Majumdar ji is in industry, hardcore, I think pharma is very important. We must think between India and ASEAN as much as we can think of. Health and wellness, as much as we can think of, we must think. How it can be clubbed with other industries, I do not know how to go by what is to be done. Now, education is one sector, time and again I'm telling, because you have not to physically move. Why a child from India should go all the way to America, to Canada, to UK? Why not they should go to Singapore? Why not? That I'm talking about not physically. I'm talking about virtually. Yes. Because this pandemic has exposed the weakness in the education system. Everybody is exposed. We have come to know what we were teaching and what is required, what is tomorrow's skill, and the skilling what is there today, whether it would be required after 2 years or not. The time is changing so fast. Technology is changing so fast. So thereby, I think challenges are realistic. We got to take it further. Okay. Ideas, when they get a shape, because idea remain idea when it remains idea only. Unless the idea doesn't turn into a reality or into a realistic kind of a implementation, it's an idea only. A lot of people on this planet have got beautiful ideas. Either they don't get an opportunity, or they don't have a courage to implement. Now today, let's take it, if we have started a hospitality deliberation, what my request to you would be, let's get all the 10 countries together on a common platform from ASEAN, one person from each country, and let me get 4 or 5 top people. What Mr. Chris mentioned, I'll get you one person from Abroy, one from Leela, one I'll get you from Redison, one I will get you from Lee Meridian, one I can get you from Holiday Inn, one I can get you from ITC. I'm going to say, let's get all of us together and let's think about it. And it will be a dream distant project at this time if we think that somebody would be ready to invest for next 1 year. I want to live with the reality. I do not want to live with the dreams. I always believe in reality. It will take minimum 1 year for people to think, rethink, repackage, design, and talk about how to go by. But yes, 2023, if the games are coming up to Cambodia, that could be a game changer. but that will happen in 2022 onwards. 2021 also, we will have a lot of hiccups and challenges and psychological, psychographic, psychometric issues. I'm telling you, people will take time to get across in the real shape where we were in month of January 2020 when we were not knowing about coronavirus. It will take time. It will take time. It's not going to go away that soon. So thereby, I salute efforts of Sandeep Majumdarji, and I always respect Dato Rameshji's wonderful, because he has got a holistic picture of the entire ASEAN. And I'm grateful to Jagdeep Takrti and Chris Anthony ji this evening to have come over here to share the thought process with all of us. I'm so grateful to you. But I have given my life to hospitality industry and to tourism industry and to airline industry. And I set up India's first tourism institute for the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. I set up the first hotel management institute for Indian Army. I set up, I drafted the whole MBA tourism course for India way back with my team in 1989 for India, for the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. And earlier there used to be a diploma in tourism, hospitality management. We got it converted into degree program, getting one program from IGNOU. So I understand the reality, the ground reality. So I want to live with reality and I want to take on reality. It will take some time. Cambodia is very fortunate that nobody is having any difficulty, problem, nobody knows on the ground. It's a wonderful. I pray to Almighty, the whole world should have that situation soon. But like Datoji mentioned about the situation, I'm worried about, because the festival season is in India, to submit, and I would like to convey my deep thanks. Yes.
Dr. Gulshan ji, I want to just add on to the point that you just said. I know that we did a discussion whether this today's topic should be taken or not taken. The reason I thought what you're saying is right. The reason that I thought is that you have been in tourism, you have been in the force, army. I have been into sales and marketing. So there are certain rules in those industries. Like suppose you are heading a front, and one of your soldier gets wounded, right? You don't leave that soldier there. The ones who are all right can go on their own. Similarly, in this industry now, hotel industry, tourism industry is suffering. We can't leave them alone and walk off. Similarly, I was a very senior position in India before I moved on to Singapore. Now, I always used to see, when I used to see the tour program of my managers or supervisors, they will always visit those cities and towns which is already doing good sales. They will never try to go to the poor performing areas and those representatives which are doing, because when they go to a performing places, they come back and they're like, oh, we booked an order, we have the future sales coming in. But what happens to the territory which is not doing well? A good manager is the one who takes up the bigger challenge, the area which is not performing, and go and prove to the management that, see, this was not performing. I have been there and I have corrected the situation. So tourism is something which is suffering. You are an expert in tourism. We look forward to your guidance. And of course, our speakers here today have given us a lot of tips which we can work. We can share that with the other ASEAN countries within India, and we can be a help to each other within ASEAN and India to take this forward in a positive note.
Sure. Very kind of you. Sandeep ji, I totally respect, and if you would be kind to recollect, on the World Teachers Day, we invited youth and we invited hospitality heads, and you all were there kindly, and you also graced the occasion, and Datoji also graced the occasion. And when I'm meeting these almost 56,000 and 60,000 youth, all the time my mind is blowing. What is to be done for these children? And at the same time, the staff also, which has been reduced to almost 20%, 25%, What exactly has to be done for the remaining? I think they got to divert to some other sister concern areas for time being, because we will not have much of opportunities straightway for them right now over here in the hospitality, because from some of my friends I'm getting the vouchers. They are telling me, here is a 2,000 rupees voucher, I will give you 4,000 rupees food, can you get me 100 customers? That is the situation today, because hospitality industry maintenance, their lawns, their kitchen, their manpower, their lobby, their front office, their banquets, whatsoever you think of, it's a huge investment. Even the maintenance cost is so high, because you want everything to remain hygienic and everything to remain tickety-boo on the best of order. Dato Ramesh ji has got something to share with all of us. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Gulshan ji. I think our discussion is very good. We are limiting our discussion to hotel industry, but I'm looking at it as the tourism industry, because across the board, you have a problem. We must come up with innovative ideas. I was just thinking while you're talking, take for example, in ASEAN countries, we have a lot of health centers. Like in Thailand, you have health centers where you have the leg massage, foot massage, or whatever it is. And these people who are in this industry would definitely be suffering because they don't have tourists, markets are not open. Can we find a formula where all of them get registered under the platform for the health services? That means they are certified as health workers. And if anyone needs their services, they are called by Grab or Uber or whatever it is to be sent to them for the services. So I think some innovative idea must come. So these people who are there can also, they can survive this pandemic for their families and friends. I think these are the ideas which we must come up with.
Sure.
Look at something beyond what we think is a norm. So that means then the government will have an advantage that all these people who have been working in the wellness centers or services are already registered workers. So you can track them that they have already been working. So with the technology what we have today and the artificial intelligence, everything can be done. So we can actually formulate, get people in certain sectors to be registered, get them jobs, start moving, come up with innovative ideas. Because tourism is suffering not only in the hotel industries or airline industry, but it's across the board. Yes. So we must come up with, yeah.
Sir, I would like to very humbly submit over here. You got to understand the psychology of the tourist and the natives and the human beings. People are quite worried when you talk about two segments. One is health sector, one is wellness sector. People are scared to go to hospitals now in the health sector because they are worried at this point of time, during COVID-19, the business of the health sector has also gone down. So people are having a psychological fear that even if I don't have a particular disease to retain me for a longer duration, the health sector may keep me with some disease. Wellness, yes, but at the same time, when you're talking about foot massage and all that is coming under wellness sector. Sir, there are practical challenges at this point of time. I'm telling you, because the people, I'm meeting some of the families. I'm not talking about now, but a couple of months back, when somebody got the corona in the family, they were told first deposit this much of money with the private hospital and then only you can deposit your patient. You can bring your patient, then only the patient will be treated. And you can't imagine thereafter, the patient was finding it difficult that how do I get a discharge from there? You got to understand, there are a couple of things, you know, at this point of time, people have got psychological issues also. It is not only physical issues, it's a psychological. I think Mr. Chris has got something to share. Mr. Chris has got...
Okay. Very interesting points raised. And I think Dato Ramesh said it very, very clearly on the wellness. Yes, maybe I don't take Dr. Gulshan's comments in any other manner. But I think the importance is, yes, apart from the travel or the hotel industry, wellness is an industry. My hotel has had the same concern like what you were proposing just now, what you were suggesting just now. But nevertheless, my group, we have three big spas where they provide, but the membership, we go by membership and we attract these people to come in. Innovative ideas, of course, we did not go to the extent of Uber or Grab or Uber to complement our services. But I think that's a very good move. I took that point from you.
Because
I respect Dr. Gulshan's points, very valid, immense kind of a wealth of an experience you have, and it must be really, really, really worth learning a lot from you. It's wonderful. Somebody who is so dedicated to the service industry or the hospitality. My respects to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Dato sir, any other suggestion, or should we wind up the program?
Yeah, I think you're okay for the day. Thank you, Gulshanji. You have been putting a lot of effort in there, but I hope that the effort, whatever we are putting in, can bring some results to everyone who is watching us, listening to us, because that is the objective of it. While we are telling, yes, it can be done. How is it going to be done? I think the people down there must accept what we are telling, come up with ideas, because today, even for a few dollars, people might be struggling. So let's try to stress the point, see that everyone during this pandemic is able to survive this cost. If I had an option in the world, I'll say, please, let's delete 2020 and take 2020 as 2021. So that 2020 disappears from the map. And we have 2020 in 2021 and carry on 2020 next year. So that means whatever our record for this year just washed off, we never thought that 2020 is around. So I would like to think in that manner, rather than 2020 was a bad year. 2020 is just a sort of a leap year that just leaped off. And in 2021, we say 2020. And in 2022, we go to 2021. I think then the psychological barriers within ourselves will feel much better. Every time we say 2020, a pandemic, that is creating the problem. Let's come up with a fresh idea where we can clear the situation. Thank you.
Wonderful. Sandeep Majumdarji?
No, thank you. I think, as you rightly said, we'll have to close the session. There were very valuable points from all our distinguished speakers, including, of course, Dato Ramesh Kodammal, Dr. Gulshan, and our two speakers of today evening, Mr. Press and Mr. Jagdeep. So we look forward to a new session in the coming week. Most probably, I will confirm it in a day or two, but we are targeting SME sector in the coming week, which is a very, very important sector, which we have been talking about for the last couple of weeks. I'm trying to see if we can have good speakers. Dato Ramesh Kodammal, if you have somebody from the SME sectors from Malaysia, Mr. Chris, if you can suggest somebody whom you know, if possible, because I know you are in Cambodia now. So we will try to have, what we are trying to do is, each session we do is for a particular subject matter, wherein we call in speakers from different countries in ASEAN who are from that particular segment. And we share our views and ideas and see how we can collaborate, help each other. Like SME sector is a very important sector in Cambodia too. As you know, FASTMAC is the one which is organizing, the chairman, Ditampru. I'm trying to get somebody from there. Similarly, if Dato Ramesh Kodammal, if you can bring somebody from Malaysia, we will try to bring somebody from,
Just to say something, born an SME, being born an SME, I would like to participate next week. To tell you all the
perfect.
You
so we don't need any separate speaker from Malaysia. You are the one whole and soul. Perfect. I already have one from Malaysia. Okay, good.
The people who are born SME, they must in fact come and share their experiences and motivate the SMEs to say that there is a destination they can go to. So I will be with you. That's my promise.
Perfect.
God willing.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Look forward to. Look forward. Thank you once again, all of you. Thank you. And happy Navratri to all of you again.
Thank you, everyone. And Majumdarji, Rabindranath ji would be the extremely happy person when he'll come to know next week you are having SMEs. He'll be very happy.
Yes, he is the one who is coordinating. I know that.
Because today, 5 o'clock, he has got a program. And
Right.
Mr. Chris Anthony, I extend you a very warm invitation to come to India for the second time because you had been only one. But let this situation improve. Let the
situation improve. And Mr. Chris, Chandigarh, the place where Dr. Chris is one of the most beautiful, picturesque city India has. It's known as City of Gardens.
Right.
Beautiful city. And you'll love his company. He's a very good singer, very good hospitality, very good host.
Right.
And he'll give you all organic food, which is cooked and planted in his own rooftop.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So